At exactly 3:11 in the morning, I woke up to the sound of my front door exploding open. Before I could even understand what was happening, 4 officers rushed inside, grabbed my arms, and slammed me against the wall. Outside, I saw something worse. Every single neighbor was standing there watching me like I was some dangerous criminal. I kept shouting there had to be a mistake, but nobody listened. Then, at the police station, one detective opened my file, read only 2 lines, and instantly froze. His face changed completely. He stood up, looked at every officer in the room, and shouted, "Remove those cuffs, right now." Then he slowly turned toward me and asked one question that made my blood run cold. My name is Daniel Carter, and until that night, I lived what most people would call an ordinary life. I worked 6 days a week managing a small construction company. I paid my bills on time, never had trouble with the law, and barely even knew most of my neighbors. That night, I had gone to sleep around midnight after finishing paperwork for a new project. Everything felt normal. I remember checking the clock one last time before drifting off. 3 hours later, a deafening crash shook the entire house. Before I could move, armed officers stormed into my bedroom yelling commands faster than I could process. One officer twisted my arms behind my back while another shoved me toward the hallway. I kept asking what was happening, but no one answered. As they dragged me outside, I noticed lights on in every nearby house. Curtains moved. Doors opened. People whispered. Mrs. Harrison from across the street stared at me with disgust. The teenager next door was recording everything on his phone. In that moment, I felt my entire life collapsing. Inside the police car, I tried again asking why I was being arrested. Still silence. The drive felt endless. When we finally reached the station, they pushed me into a cold interrogation room. A young officer sat across from me, looking almost nervous. 10 minutes passed. Then the door opened. A tall detective entered carrying a thick brown file. His name tag read Detective Harper. Without saying a word, he sat down, opened the folder, and began reading. His expression was cold at first, then suddenly, everything changed. His eyes widened. His posture stiffened. He quickly reread the same page twice. Then he stood up so fast his chair slammed backward. "Remove the cuffs now!" he shouted. The officers in the room looked confused. Now he yelled louder. My handcuffs came off immediately. The entire room had fallen silent. Detective Harper stared directly at me. His voice was different now. "Mr. Carter," he said quietly, "I need you to answer something very carefully." I nodded still, completely confused. He leaned closer. "Why didn't you tell anyone who your father was?" I stared at him, unable to speak. You see, 27 years earlier, my father, Richard Carter, had worked undercover for federal intelligence. During one operation, he exposed one of the largest organized crime networks in the country. The syndicate disappeared after that, but nobody knew several members had survived. For years, they secretly rebuilt, and tonight, police had received anonymous evidence claiming I was directly involved with those same criminals. But Detective Harper had noticed something hidden inside the file. My name, my address, my bloodline. Someone had intentionally used me as bait. Someone wanted revenge against my father, and they had waited decades. Before I could process what he was saying, alarms suddenly started blaring across the station. An officer rushed into the room. "Sir, we have a breach. Security cameras just caught armed men entering the rear entrance." Harper immediately pulled out his weapon. The station exploded into chaos. Gunshots echoed through the hallway. Harper grabbed my shoulder. "They're not here for you. They are here because they know we've discovered the truth." He shoved me behind a desk as bullets shattered glass nearby. I could hear screaming, footsteps, more gunfire, then silence. Minutes later, tactical units stormed the building, securing every room. 3 attackers had been captured. 2 escaped. Hours later, Harper returned holding another folder. He placed it in front of me. Inside were photographs, surveillance records, and one name circled in red. My neighbor, Tom Reynolds, the same man who lived beside me for 11 years. The same man who smiled every morning while secretly monitoring everything I did. He had been feeding information to the crime syndicate the entire time, waiting for the perfect moment. The police raid was never about justice. It was the opening move of a revenge plan, decades in the making. Weeks later, every surviving member of the syndicate was arrested. Tom disappeared before capture and remains wanted to this day. But what haunted me most was not the arrest, not the handcuffs, not even the gunfight. It was realizing that for 11 years, evil had been living 10 feet away from me, pretending to be a friend while planning to destroy my life. And if Detective Harper had missed those 2 lines in that file, I would have disappeared forever and nobody would have ever known the truth. Sometimes the most dangerous enemies are not strangers hiding in the shadows. Sometimes they are the people smiling at you every single day. I learned that one terrifying truth can change your life forever. So before you blindly trust the people around you, remember this: not everyone watching your life is cheering for your success. Some are simply waiting for the perfect moment to destroy everything.